evening and welcome. It is thoroughly unacceptable that Rahul Gandhi refuses to call Pakistani and Pakistan-backed terrorists as terrorists. He calls them militants instead. Rahul Gandhi will not call Osama bin Laden a militant, but he calls the Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Lashkar-e-Toiba militants. An Indian politician who on foreign soil takes a position that those who have carried out the killings of 26/11 and Pulwama are not terrorists, but militants, cannot be pardoned. Rahul Gandhi also says that according to him, the problem in Kashmir is not a problem of Pakistan-backed and Pakistan-sponsored terrorism, but rather that it's a insurgency. And Kashmir, instead of being a terrorist hit area, is an insurgency-prone area. With this play of words, Rahul Gandhi has been caught red-handed, providing a direct and worrying rationalization and legitimization of terrorism in Kashmir. He is directly putting the blame on the Indian state. On foreign soil, he has made these comments and he's making terrorists look like locals who are cornered by the violent Indian state. Now, this is straight out of the Prashant Bhushan and Arundhati Roy playbook. In the United Kingdom, Rahul Gandhi has also said that the quote-unquote militants did not harm him when he was in Kashmir because he came there with no violence to listen, because he's a listening, non-violent person. So Rahul Gandhi, are Kashmiri Pandits being killed because they are coming to and living in Kashmir with violence? Is the Indian army being targeted by terrorists because the Indian army is violent? And the militants like non-violent people? So Syed Salahuddin likes non-violent people like Rahul Gandhi. Hafiz Saeed likes non-violent people. The problem is with us. We are violent. We are forcing a violent reaction from essentially nice people like Hafiz Saeed and Syed Salahuddin and their gang members and their terrorist members because of our problem. Ladies and gentlemen, this kind of intellectually perverse positioning by an Indian politician on foreign soil repeatedly is nothing but a betrayal of the nation. It is an attempt at woke white man appeasement. Rahul Gandhi has also said once again that India is just a union of states. That's part of his continuing tirade against the concept of the Indian nation and Indian nationalism, the kind of Soros copy-pasting that India was never really historically a nation. Viewers, this is woke stupidity. Rahul Gandhi accepts Italy to be a nation. I'm sure he believes in the concept of Italian nationalism. But India, according to him, is not a nation, but Italy is a nation. Now, what would happen if Rahul were to go to Naples and say that Naples is a nation, Sicily is a nation, Rome is a nation, and Italy is just a union of nation states? Viewers, these comments are not ludicrous. We can't dismiss them just as stupid. We can't say anymore, oh, they're stupid comments, ignore them. No. They reflect a woke and intellectually compromised position on issues of our national interest. And a politician, any politician, who does not safeguard national interest cannot be trusted at all. Let's debate, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you say terrorists are not terrorists, they are militants. Militants like non-violent people like me, so they don't harm me. Now, you can argue that that's a kind of, intellectually vacuous comment, but no, it's more than that. Why not say terrorism? Debate number 2 tonight. No Maafi for Mafia. This is going very, very intense. Mukhtar Ansari, his gang members. Atiq Ahmed, his gang members. On the one side, the lobby now beginning to increase their attack on Yogi, who says no Maafi for Mafia. At 10:30 p.m. tonight, bribery charges hit the BJP. A cash stash on a BJP leader raises serious questions about the 40% bribe charge on the BJP that's in Karnataka. That's debate number 3. The BJP faces a cash stash corruption argument, corruption charge out there in Karnataka. And here are the headlines this Friday evening on the Debate Tonight.
That picture there is me putting flowers on the spot where almost 40 soldiers were killed by a car bomb some years back.
A car bomb, not a Pakistan-sponsored attack. Rahul Gandhi betrays India openly with his anti-India limited vocabulary, insults the Pulwama bravehearts on British soil.
Militants. Now, militants should normally kill me. In that environment, militants should kill me. And he says they're there.
He calls Pakistani terrorists. He refuses to call Pakistani terrorists terrorists. He says they are just militants. Militants who like a non-violent approach. Unbelievable comments by Rahul Gandhi.
सद्भावना के प्रतीक और पाकिस्तानी आतंकवाद पर चुप्पी, ये है राहुल गांधी की सही तस्वीर.
And after these comments, Rahul Gandhi is facing massive backlash, controversy, embarrassment over the insult to India. There are questions raised about why he won't call terrorists terrorists. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a big debate now. No Maafi for the Mafia. Yogi is going completely all out on day 3. No stopping the bulldozers. The no Maafi for Mafia approach is now being debated across the country, getting a lot of support. Bribegate hits the BJP. BJP hit by major Bribegate allegations ahead of the elections in Karnataka. BJP MLA's son arrested after being caught red-handed accepting the bribe. And BJP has a lot to explain. Wads and wads of cash and 9 bags in all. 9 crore rupees seized from one MLA's son in the biggest ever much needed Lokayukta recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, Rahul Gandhi's absurdities are best ignored. But when he goes on foreign soil and spills a presentation full of falsehoods, when he refuses to call Pulwama a jihadi terrorist attack, when he tries to use the lexicon of the Western media, refuses to call terrorists in Kashmir terrorists, when he said these are just militants who essentially appreciate non-violence, then ladies and gentlemen, this is a whitewashing of terrorism. This is a whitewashing of matters of national security. It has become extremely serious. Why he constantly also says that India is not a nation, was never a nation, is just a union of states. Though the bigger issue really is why he will not call out jihadi terrorism for what it is. Viewers, he also said that Pulwama was just a car bomb. He refused to say that it was a terrorist attack on our soldiers. He said the soldiers just died in a car bomb. Viewers, this play of words, this white man appeasement is the betrayal of the Indian nation. Let's debate.
He was playing on his phone when the bodies of our martyrs were brought in. Today, he calls their sacrifice a result of a car bomb.
So we are going through all the states, and Kashmir is a state which is insurgency prone, right? There's a lot of violence. There's been quite a lot of violence for many years. In fact, that picture there is me putting flowers on the spot where almost 40 soldiers were killed by a car bomb some years back.
A militant is defined as an aggressively active or combative individual in support of a cause. But this is how Rahul uses the word.
And he says, Mr. Gandhi, you've come here to listen to us. So I'm like, yes. And then he says, you see those guys over there? And I'm like, yes, who? He's like, those boys over there. He's like, the militants. Now, militants should normally kill me. In that environment, militants should kill me. And he says, they're there. And they're looking at you.
In fact, Rahul Gandhi in his address at Cambridge completely compromised national security.
Going through all the states, and Kashmir is a state which is insurgency prone, right? There's a lot of violence. There's been quite a lot of violence for many years. In fact, that picture there is me putting flowers on the spot where almost 40 soldiers were killed by a car bomb some years back. So we arrive in Kashmir, and Kashmir is this so-called violent place. And as I'm entering Kashmir, the security guys come to me and say, listen, we need to talk to you. So what do you need to say? And they say, well, look, the thing is, you can't walk in Kashmir. I'm like, why can't I walk in Kashmir? And they're like, well, because you'll get hand grenades thrown on you.
He implied that those who listen aren't targeted.
Because I had come into that environment listening. And I had come into that environment completely with no violence in me at all. And the vast number of people there were seeing that. Right? So that to me was an indicator of the power of listening and non-violence.
He deployed his aide to call this attack by the Jaish-e-Mohammed homegrown terror in the past.
To who provided the kilograms of RDX, the Mi-4 carbines and rocket launchers to the homegrown so-called terrorists. Homegrown so-called terrorists.
Rahul Gandhi, however, did use the word terrorism after the 26/11 attacks.
It is very difficult to stop every single terrorist attack. Terrorism is something that is impossible to stop all the time.
He ran down the integrity of India once again.
India is not described as a nation. In our constitution, the line is, India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. In the constitution, India is described as a union of states. And that union requires a negotiation, requires a conversation. So it's slightly different than other countries. You can think about it much more at the scale of Europe.
Politically, the BJP is taking him on.
आज देश राहुल गांधी के सही चेहरे को देखे कि भारत में कभी भारत की संस्थाओं का अपमान, विदेश में जाके भारत की जनता का अपमान और चीन का गुणगान सद्भावना के प्रतीक और पाकिस्तानी आतंकवाद पर चुप्पी, ये है राहुल गांधी की सही तस्वीर.
But the issue is not political.
When he says almost 40 people died, that means you even till date don't know how many people died. This is not my statement, that is some idiot speaking, that he doesn't know how many. I'm deliberately calling it idiot because if you are so unaware about your country, you are an idiot.
It's about the betrayal of the nation. Let's debate.
Viewers, I want to say that when these comments first got reported, Gaurav, it was first thought that no, this is a joke. He couldn't have said this. There was the first reaction many people had that this is a BJP group which is misinterpreting what Rahul Baba is saying. But then when we got the information, even in our newsroom, we said we must first see the video on what he has said. But I couldn't believe it actually, Savio, Sushil, that he says there that, and I'll go comment to comment on this and I'll just take a little while to go through. Sushil, first he says that when I went to Kashmir, the militants were there. I saw the militants, they saw me, some kind of a really crazy theory. That he was walking through, there was this wonderful, loving eye-to-eye contact between the militants. He would never call them terrorists. They are not terrorists, Sushil, they are militants, right? Just a few combative individuals fighting the Indian state. And he said that nobody hurt him. These militants didn't hurt him because they realized that he had come in the spirit of non-violence. So, in doing so, very interestingly, Pankaj and Rohit and Ramesh Sabarwal and Nilanjan Das, he ascribes a quality to these terrorists, that they are first not terrorists, they know who is violent and non-violent. So Sushil, you know, Kashmiri Pandits are violent people. They are being killed because they come in violence. They deserve to be killed, according to Rahul Gandhi, by this logic, because they come in violence, whereas Rahul Gandhi comes in non-violence, and the terrorists appreciate non-violence. This is straight, I don't know from which logic. So Sushil, I first want your comment on this. When he says that I listen, so Indian state doesn't listen, Kashmiri Pandits don't listen, anybody who gets killed by the terrorists does not listen, and it is their fault. So 4-year-old Vihan Kumar, 14-year-old Samiksha, who were killed when the terrorists threw grenades at Hindu homes, they came with violence. The 4-year-old came with violence, Rahul Gandhi comes with non-violence. Terrorists appreciate non-violence. This is the first time I've heard this level of stupidity where someone says that terrorists appreciate non-violence. This is like saying I was walking through Afghanistan, from a cave came out Osama bin Laden. He looked at me, I looked at him. Osama realized that I'm a non-violent kind of fellow, looked at me lovingly and let me go away. No, you are laughing, but it is both stupid and dangerous, this kind of logic, Sushil. It's really frightful.
Arnab, it's seldom that I disagree with you, but this time I have to.
Oh.
Because when you use repeatedly the word intellectual, when you are discussing someone like Rahul Gandhi, it's a clear case of exaggeration. The two do not belong together. And
no, I said intellectually shallow. I would say intellectually compromised. I would die, but not call anything but she has said intellectual. But this comment that terrorists appreciate the spirit of non-violence, terrorists like thinking and non-violent people like Rahul Gandhi. They don't like violent people like Sushil or any violent Kashmiri Pandit or any violent Indian Army soldier.
Two, the challenge that you throw whenever you bring him up is for us to make sense and make a sensible critique of what he says, which is often nonsense. And therefore, we are always at a loss what to do. He calls it car bomb. You know, this car bomb wokeism reminds me of someone who said, Pakistan didn't kill my father, war did. And this has since spread like an epidemic, this kind of logic, this kind of thinking. When he says we are not a nation, he proves that he is beyond education. He cannot be taught even elementary political science. He cannot be taught history. He cannot be taught what our civilization has been for thousands of years. You must cut him some slack, because what he has done to himself is become a provider of incessant comic relief in our politics.
No, that is one way of looking at it. But I'd like to bring in both Rohit and Ramesh Sabarwal, who's a member of the AICC. Mr. Sabarwal, when you say that the terrorists like non-violent people and terrorists don't hurt me because I come with no violence, I come with a spirit of thinking, I come with a spirit of non-violence, which means basically you are saying the terrorists are killing those who are violent. I'm just trying to understand. This is very convoluted. I mean, I don't get this thinking. I mean, you're a Congress leader. How do you react to this? How do you handle this kind of stuff? How do you do it, Mr. Sabarwal? What do you do? What's your reaction to this?
Arnab,
yes.
The Rahul ji has said categorically their insurgency. Use the word insurgency also. He used the word violent also. The Kashmiris, the Pulwama was violent attack. These are twisting of words, These are the confusion between insurgency, the terrorist, the militancy. These are three words in the dictionary, If you go to the translation and all that, there is some confusion comes.
No, why won't you call a terrorist, Mr. Sabharwal?
Definitely, you're right.
Why wouldn't Rahul Gandhi call a terrorist a terrorist?
I appreciate what you're saying.
Kasab was not a terrorist?
He was a terrorist.
No, why would Rahul Gandhi use the word militant? You see, 1 minute. Either, are you saying he doesn't understand English? A militant is someone, I'll tell you, according to the Cambridge and Oxford dictionaries, someone who is active, determined, often willing to use force for a cause. Right? A terrorist is a person who takes part in terrorism. By not calling a terrorist, you are making a call. You are saying it's not terrorism. Would you call Osama bin Laden a militant?
No.
No, I want to know this. Why would you? No, there were 3 references out there. Ramesh Sabharwal, this is a very serious issue.
No,
this is a serious issue, Mr. Sabharwal.
I appreciate. We will correct ourselves. We will correct ourselves.
No. 1 minute. I'll tell you one thing. 2 children were killed. I'm reading from a news report, and 5 people were injured in a terrorist incident in Rajouri on the 2nd of June 2023. Now the person who kills the 2 children by throwing a grenade at them is a terrorist or a militant? And if he's a terrorist, then why does Rahul Gandhi not call that person a terrorist? No, sir, it is a serious issue, sir. This is hurt.
No, I agree with you.
Why would you not call why would you go to UK and say they are not militant?
We will take the precautions, but we will use the right words. But you are saying to us, we appreciate you have taken a good discussion of this topic. The insurgency he used, we should also see what is the tone and tenor of the total speech, what he was giving debate, what he was doing there. So he used the word insurgency 3-4 times. I was listening on your TV.
Yeah, why was he? 1 minute, just 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. When you are saying insurgency, and Tuhin has put his hand up, I'm getting Gaurav also on this. And it is when you are using the word insurgency, you are basically saying that the locals are fighting a legitimate battle against the state. This is quite clear, Gaurav. That means you are saying that Kashmiris are fighting a very legitimate battle against the Indian state. You are portraying India as an oppressor state on British soil. Sir, you are going to a country which was our colonizer, and you are saying to them that India is an occupying force. You are taking a Pakistani lingo, sir, on British soil. I don't know who you want to make happy, but you are using the word insurgency. Sir, it is a case of terrorism, not insurgency. There's a world of difference between the two, Gaurav. There's a world of difference. This is extremely serious. I am not fooling around on this, Mr. I am very angry about this, sir. Please.
Well, we'll take precautions.
No, sir, sir, let me tell you one thing. First of all, let me tell you one thing. I need to make a point. Almost 20 years back, Gaurav, I was a visiting fellow at Cambridge University, at Sydney Sussex College in Cambridge University. And out of my research there as a fellow, I produced a book in 2001 on laws against terrorism. And I want to tell you, Mr. Sabharwal, the British laws against terrorism are far stronger than the Indian laws at that time, before POTA. So to go to Britain and say that terrorism is not terrorism, even the British will laugh at you. Gaurav, I don't understand this. This is a major compromise. Either he doesn't know or he's willingly doing this. Someone's got to explain why you would do this.
We get confused. We get confused.
Arnab, sir, confusion.
Arnab, I would just like to tell, with your permission,
sir,
I'd like to bring to the notice of notice of Mr. Ramesh Sabharwal that there is no confusion between these words.
There's no confusion.
When a populace picks up arms against the state, the struggle can be legitimate or otherwise, but when they pick up arms against the state, when they fight against a bigger power, that is called insurgency. And what I would like to say is that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is an honorable member of parliament. He's not a common man who can say whatever he feels like. He goes to foreign soil in an esteemed university, there in front of the entire world. He says that I was looking at the terrorists and they were looking at me, and because I came in peace.
Yeah, because I
was there to listen. They did not harm me. And I don't know who's this person who goes to Mr. Rahul Gandhi at every place. You see, this one thing, Arnab, you must investigate. Whether he is in South India, in North India, East or West, somebody comes and says, oh, that happened. Some random person comes. Now in Kashmir, this random person says, oh, you know those guys standing there, they are quote-unquote militants. Then what were the security forces doing there? This is what I want to ask. Last point which I want to bring out, Arnab, is that, recently Rahul Gandhi also said, and it was covered in the media, where he said that I have studied the Chinese in detail. And what the Chinese actually want is harmony. Can you believe this, Arnab? He said the Chinese want harmony. That is what the Chinese seek.
He has said something like that this
problem.
time also. So while he's criticized the Indian state, he has on British soil also praised China. So, this is going a little crazy right now, and we are not being able to believe why he does this. But yes, Tuhin, you see, yes, Tuhin, please.
Arnab, at least today, Rahul Gandhi does not deserve any benefit of doubt, driven to despondency by his infinite failures. He has very clearly embarked upon a nefarious agenda to denigrate the country, and I will show you a pattern in his behavior in the last 3 years. Starting 24th August, let me complete please, 24th August 2019, the Article 370 was abrogated on August 5, 2019, on 24th August, the Congress party was supposed to have its first meeting, the pretense to elect a new leader, when they could not. At around 8 p.m. on that day, 24th August 2019, Rahul Gandhi came out and spread the scanner that there is bloodshed in the Kashmir Valley. Pakistan used that to browbeat us for many weeks internationally. Starting then, if you look at Rahul Gandhi's visit to UK even last May, there were similar attempts. He met Jeremy Corbyn. Today he is towing Jeremy Corbyn's line.
That is a pro-Pakistani line. Jeremy Corbyn's line. Jeremy Corbyn's line.
He praised China.
No, but Jeremy Corbyn's line is a pro-Pakistani line.
Even on that
so the point when he makes to him, when he says to him that Pulwama, you see, Pankaj, you need to understand what he's doing. He goes there and he says, I was in Kashmir, which is supposedly a violent place where there's an insurgency. And I looked at the militants. They found me very non-violent. That's why they didn't hit me. They didn't attack me. So militants like non-violent people and thinking people like me. But in the craziest of crazies, he then goes on to say, Rohit and Pankaj, he goes on to say, some soldiers died in a car bomb. Some soldiers died in a car bomb. You see, Pankaj and Rohit, you need to understand this. This was a Pakistan-sponsored terrorist attack. You are on foreign soil. You have questioned the Indian state. You have justified terrorism, called it militancy, described terrorism as a legitimate local insurgency, said that militants, according to you, appreciate non-violent people, and Pulwama was just a car bomb. No, Mr. Manchanda, there has to be a limit to everything. There has to be, we can't take this as just funny anymore. This is not funny. This is completely and absolutely unacceptably a compromise of national interest, Mr. Manchanda. Shameful. It's shameful.
No, it is not shameful. It is shameful how the media is targeting this issue as a national issue and making it is so shameful.
Targeting.
Please understand.
1 minute.
How can you say it's not shameful? How can you say it's not shameful?
No, it is.
He's clearly showing his linkages to Pakistan and China. Analyze the entire
Rahul Ji is addressing and
Rahul Gandhi is showing his linkages to Pakistan and China. He's showing his linkages to Pakistan and China. It is shameful. It is despicable. It is shameful. It is despicable. He is showing his closeness to Pakistan and China. He is showing his closeness to Pakistan and China. You admit that. You admit that. It is shameful.
That we can speak
one at a time. It is shameful. You
but there are strong sentiments now across the country on this, Mr. Rohit.
I don't want to argue with Rahul Gandhi.
So
what has Rahul Gandhi got to do with Pakistan and China?
Can I speak,
what is his close links to Pakistan and China?
Rohit, this is not a... Rohit, first of all, Rohit, I tell you one thing.
Why is he going about browbeating over terrorism?
Can you ask the gentleman to please
Why is he
calm down and
browbeating
talk
over terrorism?
No, he's angry.
When does a militant remain a militant? There is no militancy in Kashmir. There is terrorism.
No, even we are angry. Even we are angry the way...
The way?
Arnab, listen to this.
Listen
to this. You are targeting to a person whose family...
It is shameful, my friend. It is shameful.
Family, his
Stand up
father
for India and stop,
and his grandmother, they were killed by terrorism.
Stop
Who knows better than him? Who knows better than Rahul ji? They have sacrificed their family's life for the country.
So what?
And you are targeting...
Rahul Gandhi's father was not the only one who died.
Militancy?
Rahul Gandhi's father is not the only victim of terrorism. Rahul Gandhi's father is not the only victim of terrorism. 14 other people died.
Please understand.
14 other people died.
He has addressed it.
No, but okay, now tell me. Okay, Mr. Manchanda and Pankaj, Mr. Sabharwal is also saying something. Mr. Sabharwal, may I ask, Savio, I know you are angry, but I just want to give the other side.
Arnab,
yes, Rohit, complete your point. Yeah, complete your point, Rohit.
Let us talk once at a time, please.
Yeah, we are talking one at a time. Okay.
1% at a time.
Okay, Mr. Manchanda will make his point now. And then, Mr. Sabharwal, I'm coming back to you. I'm getting too many calls tonight, viewers. This is not an ordinary issue. If you are supporting terrorists by calling it an insurgency, you have to answer insurgency is an armed rebellion. It is a rebellion. Terrorism is not a rebellion.
Arnab, let me come
Either
back to
you
your
don't
point.
know English or are deliberately playing with it. Yes.
Kashmiri Pandits.
Yes, Kashmiri Pandits. What was it about Kashmiri Pandits?
You raised the issue of Kashmiri Pandits. Every resident of Jammu and Kashmir, who's getting killed is the saddest part for our nation. Whether it is Kashmiri Pandit, whether it is any resident of Jammu and Kashmir.
Ask you something? Rohit,
and they are only targeting. Targeting. Why?
Rohit, I'll give you this. Rohit, I have Sushil here. I'm sure he wants to respond, but I want to say something here before Sushil does. You see, Rohit, be very clinically clear about this. I am of the view that terrorism cannot be defended through any argument. Terrorism is terrorism. Terrorism...
Who's defending
No, let me tell you who is Rahul Gandhi is, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, and people will hear me.
He didn't defend terrorism.
Yeah, people will... one minute. Pankaj, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why he has done so, and then you can respond to me. But you need to let me complete my argument on why he has done so, and then you can... See, I'll tell you one thing, Pankaj. Pankaj, see. And please don't interrupt me right now for a minute, Sushil, because I need 2 minutes to explain a point. No, 1 minute.
There is a saying in Punjabi. There is a old saying in Punjabi. Arnab, there is a very old saying in Punjabi. No, please, just few seconds. Just few seconds. There is a very old saying in Punjabi. I'm just repeating it in Hindi. कि आटा गुंदी हुई हिल्दी क्यों है? मतलब आप आटा तो गूंद रहे हो, हिल क्यों रही है? So Rahul ji has to say something and you want to target it. And
रोहित जी मेरी बात सुनिए अभी मैं आपको रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ मेरी बात सुने मेरी काउंटर पूछे कि पंकज ने मुझे कहा है हाउ कैन यू कॉल दिस सपोर्ट ऑफ टेररिज्म मैं 2 मिनट लूंगा
की जरूरत नहीं है
मैं 2 मिनट लूंगा रोहित जी मैं 2 मिनट लूंगा
जो टेररिज्म है वो टेररिज्म ही है
if you are saying you see the argument is first you are not calling terrorists you are repeatedly calling them militants आपको पता है कि by calling them militants you will get a lot of वाहवाही in Britain और वहाँ के लेफ्ट लिबरल मीडिया बोले कि वाह an Indian politician who has the courage to come to Britain and say they are not terrorists but militants. So you have to decide, do you want the support of the people of this country or do you want the support of some of our colonizers? Second point is, you have made a story. First of all, as Sushil is, पता नहीं ये story कहाँ से आती है. I was walking and somebody told me, look here behind that tree there is a militant. Delusional. And then the militant looked at me. Delusional. 1 minute. And the militant, let me complete the story. It's very interesting. And look here, there is a militant. and the militant should have killed me. Then I looked in, this militant gave me a look, I gave him a look back, we were looking at each other, the look happened and he did not kill me. And do you know why they did not kill me? Because I am a non-violent and thinking man. Now that is a pure defense of terrorism, if there ever was one, because it is an argument which says a violent man is targeted by a terrorist, who I won't even call a terrorist because the violent man is not changing his ways. So Sushil Pandit is a violent man. All the people killed by terrorists are basically violent people. I am a non-violent kind of guy. I am a non-violent kind of guy, so I won't be targeted. This is no. You are giving a quality to a terrorist which you should be ashamed of.
Family, the word
no, it is stretching things too far.
What is it? Stretched too far, Pankaj? Okay, Pankaj versus Gaurav. Yeah, why is it stretched too far? Pankaj, tell Gaurav.
Arnab, I want to see it is stretching things too far, and Mr. Goswami.
Oh, stretching too far. Let's see, I'll ask the people of this country.
Nation is not witnessing your ticklish art of twisting things for the first time, Mr. Goswami. Did he say that Pulwama was not a terrorist attack?
Yes.
See, everybody
yes, he said. No, 1 minute.
Everybody is agreeing that Pulwama was a Pakistan.
I'm sorry.
Attack.
No, 1 minute.
So can you please tell us what is the status of Pulwama probe after 4 years?
You know, okay, so can I just ask you a simple question and Gaurav will reply to you. If you go to Britain, you say Pulwama was a terrorist attack. Let's not be daft. Let's not speak like this. We are fully aware on foreign soil. The first thing you say is Pulwama was a terrorist attack and Pakistan killed 40 of our soldiers. You don't go to appease the white man and go to say 40 soldiers, Gaurav, were killed in a car bomb.
A car bomb cannot be.
You are white. No. Car bomb by whom? Car bomb carried out by whom? Is it too difficult to say?
Car bomb is.
Will your Pakistani audience? You can't say. No. You. If you're talking to a Pakistani audience, if he has gone, Gaurav, to appease a Pakistani audience, because I fully know. No. These groups that are called South Asian. You are South Asian audience I'm going to appease. I'm going to appease a South Asian audience, so I can't offend my Pakistani brothers. This is a complete compromise. Your problem is that you think we will let this thing go. You think it is not going to be a blemish on an individual's record. I want to tell you, Pankaj, listen. I bring you to the debate with Gaurav. 1 minute. 1 minute.
The problem.
I'll tell you one thing.
Is 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. show has to target Rahul ji on something or the other.
1 minute. I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Rohit Manchanda. I have spent a few years studying in the United Kingdom, right?
Please.
And unlike Rahul, I was a legitimate student of both Oxford University and Cambridge University. I was in Oxford on a scholarship and in Cambridge on a fellowship. I have some idea of what people respect in Britain. They respect intellectual honesty. And let me tell you one thing. Margaret Thatcher, Gaurav, when she survived a bomb attack, right? 1984. Her comment, you know what it was, Pankaj? She said all attempts to destroy democracy by terrorism will fail. The British call it terrorism. And Rahul Baba goes to Britain and refuses to call it terrorism. Now explain it to Gaurav. Since you're saying I'm playing with words. And the BBC, by the way, 1 minute, one last thing.
Where has he said?
One last thing.
Is he saying that he has refused to call it a terrorism?
Oh, then call it terrorism.
Nowhere you
have called it militancy.
His entire speech.
You refused. You don't call terrorism by any other word, Rohit.
He's saying very clearly it is militancy.
But militancy is not terrorism, sir. Terrorism is terrorism. Don't play with words. Gaurav is on the debate. This is ridiculous.
No. I just want to
whether you call it militancy or you call it
it matters.
No, sir. I am with your permission.
Whether he has called militancy or he has
no, sir. I'll tell you.
No.
I'll tell you, sir. Allow me to complete, please. Sir, there is a lot of difference between terrorism and militancy. It's like saying that whether you're part of the Samajwadi Party or the Congress Party, it does not matter because both of you are politics.
Mr. Sabharwal.
It's not like that. there are specific differences and there are stark differences. A militant uses force. A terrorism uses terror. A terrorist uses terror. There is a lot of difference.
Boss, what?
We also
एक minute, sir. Sir, एक minute, sir. एक minute. My request is, sir, that Mr.
Meaning same है.
नहीं, sir. Sir. आप गलत कह रहे हैं, sir. You're wrong.
इंग्लिश की ट्विस्टिंग है.
No, sir.
अब आपको
नहीं, twisting नहीं है.
पैदा हुए
नहीं, sir. सब इंग्लैंड में पैदा होने ना होने से फर्क नहीं. If you अगर राहुल जी, sir, एक minute. Can you please allow me, sir?
In front of the
Sir, can you please allow me to complete and not interrupt, sir? I didn't interrupt when you were talking.
These are Cambridge University
So please.
dictionary boss twisting of words.
Sir, you are saying Rahul studied at Cambridge. He studied at St. Stephen's. और कितनी अंग्रेजी सीखेंगे वो?
He will take.
By the way, sir, I'll just tell you, sir. Allow me to complete, sir.
Allow me to complete, sir. Arnab, what he's saying.
No, the word, it matters, sir.
Sir, I'll just tell you, I just want to tell you, sir, that terrorism is something which is very, very, very different from militancy. They're not the same thing. And insurgency is something totally different. It's 180 degrees different.
I'll tell you.
A militant who picks up the weapon, sir. A militant picks up a weapon to achieve a certain aim and uses violence. A terrorist will go and do car bombing. He will do killing. He'll kill innocent people to achieve that aim. There is a lot of difference. You can't say that he got confused. I'm just speaking on a technical point. Being from the armed forces.
So technicalities have no meaning. Technicalities have no meaning, Mr. Gaurav.
Technicalities have no meaning.
When we call someone a militant, we call him a terrorist. Bhindra wale was called militant. Bhindra wale used to
on the left, yeah.
Militant. Was he a terrorist or a militant? Newspapers used to write the word
why are you speaking like
no doubt in anybody's mind. Arnab, after all that Rahul Gandhi has uttered today, let us for once safely conclude that he's very clearly towing the line of George Soros and Jeremy Corbyn. But what is most condemnable, you're missing out slightly on that, is his belabored attempts to legitimize and endorse China's debt diplomacy, which has wreaked economic havoc upon the world. Last year he said China is spreading the idea of prosperity to the world, and yesterday again he praises CCP. That is what is most insidious and most malified, the attempts to legitimize and endorse the Chinese mindset, which is responsible for economic havoc in the world.
Pankaj, I want to...
Such a serious Pakistan-sponsored terrorist attack on us.
Pankaj, I just want to say this, please. You know, on the 22nd of March 2017, when there was a terrorist attack near the houses of the UK Parliament, the BBC called it a terrorist attack. The problem is with politicians like Rahul who want to do white man appeasement. The BBC, when there was an attack in Paris, you know, you remember the attack in Paris where there was a citywide gun and bomb attack. It was called a terrorist attack. It was not called an act of militancy. And I'm curious also to know, Pankaj, and maybe Nilanjan can come in on this, Nilanjan. Why would you refuse to say that India has historically been a nation? Now, when you say it's a union of states, the counter question would be...
Constitution says this.
No, 1 minute. Can you
Constitution of India says this.
Sandhu's agenda.
I mean, you know, I tell you one. I'm asking Nilanjan, can you go to Italy, can Rahul Gandhi go to Italy and say that Italy is not a nation? Let him say that.
No, why should he say that?
Well, because
why should he say that?
So he has to accept that Italy is a nation. So he accepts that Italy is a nation. He believes in Italian nationalism, Savio, but not in the idea or the premise of Indian nationalism. So you're basically trying to say India is like India is like a wishy-washy structure like the EU.
Nation.
No, he has said India is like the EU. He has said India is like the European Union. I mean, this is how can you go on British soil and say this? How can you go to UK post? I mean, Nilanjan, 1 minute. You have to be particularly daft to go to UK post Brexit, where Sushil, you spend so much time in the UK, to go to UK post Brexit and say, I come over a country that is not historically a nation, that's just some loose union of states.
No, he has not said that.
Society
he has said that India, according to the constitution, is a union of states. He is absolutely right. And I was trying to come in, since the last 45 minutes, I was trying to correct you. Do you know what is the definition of a nation? Arnab, you are trying to define insurgency and this and that. Please define what is a nation.
Okay, can I respond to you, please?
No, you have to respond.
Yeah, so I will, but if provided you stop hyperventilating, I'll respond in a second.
Yeah.
So here it is, and I'll give you, because I have a keen interest in both history and geography. I will say 5 things, and these are not rhetorical comments, these are very well thought comments. Can you go to Italy and say that Italy is a union?
Define what is a nation.
Allow me, please, please, first of all, please, I give elaborate responses when I'm asked. If you can go to Italy and say, see, this is a union of 20 regions and not a nation, that Calabria is just a part of the union of states, and can you go tomorrow and say Sicily is just part of a union of states, Sicily is the nation, or Toscana is the nation, or Umbria is the nation, Italy is only a union, then you'll be told to get out. You've got to be rational about these things. You cannot say Italy is a conversation. Italy is a negotiation.
Is a union of states.
You are saying Italy is a negotiation and Sicily is a nation. Can you say Italy is a negotiation?
On a national
You've got to be really stupid to say that.
The Constitution of India. Shame on you first.
If you want to respond like that, nothing can help you.
I'm reading from the Cambridge Dictionary. A nation is defined as a large body of people united by common
having to learn about
no wonder
this is the idea of the BJP and RSS. They want to define India
of Mother India
as a single Hindi Hindutva.
It should surprise no one.
There's no Hindi Hindutva in Indian nationalism, sir.
That they will further partition India if they could.
Okay, why?
They are absolutely irresponsible in creating such theoretical constructs.
No, I know you are a well-learned man. You should read up the Constitution.
We are a nation.
Savio.
Article 1 of the Constitution says that it's a union of states.
We are one people.
Then let the government make some amendment in the Constitution.
We have one civilization.
I want to make some other point. Arnab, first of all, I think you are wasting time discussing whatever Mr. Gandhi has said on a foreign soil, because I don't find, much substance in whatever he has said. I think you are missing much larger points. You are not discussing price rise. You are not discussing the post-poll violence in Tripura. These are the issues that you should be discussing, rather than discussing what Mr. Gandhi has said. What words you should have used.
When you
for your program,
it is important.
I have covered the elections in elaborate detail all of yesterday.
No, you haven't reported the post-poll violence in Tripura that is undergoing even now.
No, but you're not on the point.
Position in your editorial.
No, but
it is important to discuss.
As a journalist, you should be covering
It is important to discuss because a member of parliament has gone to Cambridge. A member of parliament has gone to Cambridge and termed terrorism as militancy.
And you are discussing what
has termed terrorism as militancy.
No, if you,
a member of parliament from India. What are you telling the people?
You are discussing.
What are you telling the people? Are you browbeating?
No, I will just say
terrorism
this.
Is terrorism.
By the way, I retain the right to debate on what I feel I want to debate. And I'm saying this despite the fact that Republic is valiantly fighting the Bengal government, which is putting all kinds of false cases against us at the drop of a hat. Now my question to you is the Modi government. You don't have the guts to question the National Human Rights Commission.
Never. This is the fact.
Now question is, would you call Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi of the ISIS a militant or a terrorist? Would you call Osama bin Laden, the mastermind of 9/11, a militant or a terrorist?
Just because he has said something rubbish and you are discussing that instead of discussing the real issues.
Good, that's all.
Of course I do. Of course he has said something rubbish.
Arnab, I'd like to ask him a question.
Defend rubbish.
Just one question.
So you have come here to defend rubbish?
No, I haven't come here to defend Mr.
Defend rubbish.
No, I haven't come here
I'm saying it's not a play of words. I'm saying you have to be conscious, and I'm saying this in the backdrop that I'm saying it in the backdrop that unfortunately the Tukre gang in our country, Nilanjan, the Tukre gang in our country call Afzal Guru also a militant, not a terrorist. The Tukre gang calls Afzal Guru a militant.
BJP is the Tukre gang.
Arnab, can I just interfere?
I have run short of time, but Rohit.
Please discuss the real issues, Arnab. People of India are watching.
Absolutely. When I come back on the other side, another real issue, no Maafi for Mafia. Very, very important issue, ladies and gentlemen. No Maafi for Mafia. Very important issue, the cash stash at a BJP leader's son's office or residence. Two big issues when I'm back in a couple of minutes. Please come back with me.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Arvind Kejriwal has accepted the resignation of both of his top ministers accused of corruption. Satyendra Jain accused of hawala, money laundering and other such matters. Manish Sisodia accused of corruption in Liquorgate. Arvind Kejriwal beginning to distance himself from both. Politics, after all, is all about survival. And all politicians will go all out to make sure that any dirt does not stick, especially not on them. Arvind Kejriwal has massive national ambitions. So while standing by them, he is by gently asking them to resign, also ensuring very smartly that there is a distance between him and any of the charges that Jain or Sisodia face. So is all this talk about corruption within and around the Aam Aadmi Party not affecting the party's image? Does it not seriously come in the way of its planned national catapult? Can Arvind Kejriwal seek your vote around an anti-corruption agenda anymore? And if not, then what is the USP now? That is why I need to ask the very pointed questions again. Because only those pointed questions can define what the truth is. We have alliances with Prague News, News Live, we have the C voter data. So what we are doing right now in Republic is that we are putting the fastest numbers out live. There is nobody more loyal than you to the Congress. Congress is over. I want to know from you, Mr. Salim, what is your love for the Congress? There's so much love, affection.
Are you not ruling out any kind of post-poll alliance? That's what I'm saying. We'll see when the numbers come out.
The first election of the year 2023 has been very positive for Bharatiya Janata Party. It has begun from Northeast India and I feel this is good for India.
Nobody knows the future. What will happen in future, nobody knows. If there is if, then we can decide.